Yes.
I was reading an article by David Brooks, who writes for the New York Times, where he was talking about America's future. And he described the type of redevelopment that's occurring in suburban communities, and he called it, these new village centers,
Yes.
which is a nice way of saying we're going back to the future, where if you think about villages like Stony Brook or in Bellport, there is a real center. And then beyond that, you have the residential housing that supports the people that live in those communities and perhaps works in the stores.
Yes.
So you're not doing this in these unincorporated areas which were the areas that were developed in the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s.
We don't want to, again, we don't want to continue to make the same mistake we've made in the past, and that is to move forward this sprawl type development and large lots. That really just creates enormous problems, environmental problems. Our kids are not, taking advantage of going out and riding their bikes and walking, and that's creating health problems. We have an obesity problem in the United States. So we really need to re-examine how we develop in suburban settings.
Okay, when we're going to take a short break, when we come back, I want to talk to you about the work that you're doing and trying to advance this idea of transit-oriented communities. Where are there opportunities to tie in public transportation that people will really use with the redevelopment of communities? So we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Brookhaven Town Councilman Connie Kepert. Don't go away. This is Cablevision's Meet the Leaders. Our guest today is Brookhaven Town Councilman Connie Kepert. Councilman Kepert, we were talking about planning and creating new village centers. And I'm sure you must hear from people who say, no, we don't want anything here.
Yes.
Leave it as it is. We agree with you that big lot zoning is not sustainable, but don't put anything there. Now, in this country, people still have property rights.
Yes.
So unless the government is going to buy the land or condemn the land, they're going to do what's a matter of right based on the old zoning.
Yes. And actually, that's one of the problems we have come across in the Middle Country Road land use plan and the Sandy Hills application. The town of Brookhaven passed a mixed-use center with high density housing in the center, which is where we want it.
But how do you make sure that the areas that you don't want developed remain undeveloped, forever? So you make your development more compact. You work with the private sector, the property owners, the developer, to do that. But I suppose some people might be saying
it's a combination of things. We are in the Middle Country Road land use plan. We upzoned. So we upzoned or decreased the intensity of zoning in the transitional areas. So you can't have that sprawl effect and those strip centers that pop up along roadways like Middle Country Road. And then
which is what the old code would have allowed.
Yes, which the old code would have allowed. And the Sandy Hills application, he has a right. He has a right to build 35 single-family homes. And so in that original application, he would have spread that all over his 135 acres. And so all of that would have been destroyed. Instead, what we put forward was we're saving over 18 acres of open space. He's buying Pine Barrens credits to preserve additional open space, and we're creating a pedestrian-oriented center. So it really is good for the environment and it's good for the economy, but unfortunately we were sued on that. And then now we have to work through the courts. So it is a continual battle, and one of the things that I advocate, and I am a teacher by profession, is that people have to be educated, to the cost and benefits of both the new development, the sustainable development, and continued business as usual.
And the cost, the high cost of the old zoning that wouldn't just be permitted. Let's talk about transit-oriented development. That seems to be the new buzzword.
Yes.
We want to make our communities that have trains and other types of public transportation, you know, more viable by making the development around those areas, you know, more attractive for people to live.
Yes, one of the ones in Brookhaven, we're working on two major transit-oriented developments. One is in Ronkonkoma, that is outside of my district, but that will be a major effort of the town's
Now,
planning
what's so interesting about Ronkonkoma is that you have you know, that's the end of the Ronkonkoma line.
Yes.
But you can literally get on a train and get on an express train and be into Penn Station in just a little over an hour. It's remarkable.
It is remarkable. I mean, one of the things that I'm also trying to do is to try to provide train service further east, because as a person who lives in Middle Island, I have to take a car to Ronkonkoma.
And there are a lot of people that do that.
There's a lot of people. Oh yes, yes, yes. So that's the main train station that serves the eastern part of Brookhaven, which we need additional train stations, and I'm also working on that.
So where's the opportunity for redevelopment to create a more of a community around this train station?
We're working in the area of Bellport, North Bellport, where we have a train station there, and the town has about 13 acres of property that we are creating a request for proposal of interest for developers to come in with, you know, what do they propose on that? You know, before we dictate, you know, we want this much affordable housing and we want you know, this type of mix of uses. We want to see what the developers come back with. So we're in the process of doing that. We've created a great team in the town. We have Paul Pontieri, we have Jim Morgo, Val Biscardi. We have our economic development person, Lisa Giannulli, on this team, as well as the community. The community is very much involved in this process. John Rogers, Miles Malone, and others. So